everybody on streaming 10 Tampa Bay Plus. We are going to give you a little weather update here because our show is coming up soon at 5 p.m. and we have those storms, those summertime storms that are working through our region. Maybe a little bit noisy out there for some of you. Now today is the first day of summer. It's the summer solstice and we are in that pattern, right? This is pretty typical for any Floridians that have grown up here, but for anybody new to the area or maybe you just love the weather, we're going to do a quick little update for you, kind of give you a radar tour, what we're seeing out there. Certainly a lot of thunder and lightning in some parts, and kind of break down your forecasts in case you're curious. So let's get into it. So right now, this is a loop of the radar that you're seeing up on your screen. This is within the last 45 minutes. So you can really see things have started to get active here. And this is pretty typical, again, during the evening hours when we have that peak heating. Right now we have an elongated area of low pressure known as a trough that's on top of our region, and that's giving us the energy that we need for these storms. So currently I'm looking at this particular cell right in Hillsborough County and Pasco County, and those of you in Zephyr Hills, you know what I'm talking about, right? It was probably really loud out there not too long ago. The cell is moving outside of Zephyr Hills right now, and it's right on top of Brandon. Look at that. Brandon is being lit up by all of that lightning there. I do want to put the radar here at a standstill so we can kind of dive into this storm and see how much rainfall we're getting. Now, something to keep in mind when we look at this radar estimated rainfall rate that I'm going to put up here in just a second, sometimes this can kind of be polluted, if you will. I don't know if polluted is the correct word to use, but with hail. So what the radar beam is doing is it's shooting out and it's picking up on those raindrops and it's saying, hey, this is coming down at a pretty moderate rate, which we all can agree to that too. But sometimes we also have some hail that's caught up in that storm cloud, and the radar also picks up on the hail. So that's how we can get those bright colors on the radar returns. You're looking at reflectivity here. So of course the reds and the oranges, that indicates some heavier rain. But again, that also can indicate some hail is trapped in here too. If we go to our hail tracker and kind of put this is currently, yep, right on top of Brandon, they likely have some pea to penny size, maybe even quarter-sized hail that's working through that hail cooler right now. And within the last hour or so, you'll see all those little orange highlights. That's hail that has been picked up by our radar site that's out in Ruskin. So that radar is constantly spinning around. Every 5 minutes we get a nice update from it. Let's tour around the rest of the region here. You can see across our southern parts, Manatee and Sarasota County, they also have some lightning out there as well, currently crossing over I-75. So it is a little bit noisy, but again, not quite as rocky as it is out in Brandon. And then Polk County, which is usually the favorite for these storms. And again, a lot of these storms are driven by those sea breezes. We get that energy. We have certainly enough moisture to work with in the atmosphere, get that lift, and then the atmosphere just cries itself out, right? And some of that rain does come down at a moderate pace of 1 to 2 inches an hour at times. And if that cell is just on top of one area for a long period of time, well, that's usually when we see those flood advisories start to be issued. Now, so far we don't have any flood advisories, but I would not be surprised if one popped up, at least for this evening. Usually those flood advisories do tie to those poor drainage and low-lying areas, really in urban areas. So if you see some ponding on the roadway, or it's just a low-lying area, usually in those cities, any valleys that we may have, which we don't have many in Florida, but you get the picture. Usually we'll get those flood advisories when we have a lot of rain being dumped and kind of collected in one spot. So let's bring you out full here once again so you can see that loop. Again, these storms will continue pushing towards the coast. We actually started off the morning and the afternoon with some coastal showers and storms, some rumbles of thunder. If you're in Pinellas County or Hillsborough County, you likely heard that thunder earlier this afternoon, maybe as early as this morning, depending on your location. Let's play out Futurecast here to see what we're working with for the rest of the evening. So if anybody joined us last night, I said today would be a rinse and repeat, and it's pretty true. We're looking at basically the same timeline. This is at 6 o'clock, and again, that's reflectivity you're looking at there. So we still will have Some heavier rain in portions of southern Polk County, Hardee County, DeSoto County, Manatee, Sarasota, and kind of pushing off towards the coast, Pasco County, Hillsborough. It probably sounds like I'm naming all of our local areas, right? But again, these are very isolated downpours at times, so you could be dry while your neighbor is just getting hammered with rain. And you'll see that a lot when you're driving on the roadways with these summertime storms. It'll be sunny off in the distance, and then your car will just be getting splashed with all kinds of rain if you're driving through a downpour. So that's the way it works in Florida in summertime, right? No secret there. But playing out Futurecast a little bit more here. Here we are closer to 8 p.m. And you can see we get a little bit of action closer to Citrus County. And then by 8, 9 o'clock, 10, 11, we start to fizzle things out. Moving into tomorrow, again, it will be pretty much the same, just not quite as much coverage, but we will still have a few storms out there, especially as we get rolling into the afternoon. We're talking around lunchtime, we could see something closer to the coast. And then again, with that light southeast flow that we have, those winds, that will pull in the moisture and get those sea breezes going, especially in the afternoon, around 3, 4 o'clock. And usually we see them right on the east side of I-75, and then they kind of drift off to our Gulf Coast. So precip totals from today, the last 24 hours, we've had about 2 to 3 inches radar indicated again, and you see plenty of gray on your screen there, meaning that some areas really didn't receive much rain at all. But the blues and the purples, that's where we got those good downpours for today. So we're going to be on the air at 5 p.m. I hope you join us. And it was nice catching up with all of you on our streaming app. And we will see you at 5 and 6 o'clock. Bye.